So Jesus went home. What did we hear? He's out of his mind. He's possessed by Beelzebub. Isn't it easy to put a label on people? Don't we do it? They're stuck up. They're big mouth. Tightwad. Maybe many other ones that we won't repeat. But Jesus did not let the one go by. How can Satan drive out Satan? How can his kingdom stand? We know his kingdom is still here. We hear about it on the news all the time. Read about it. The scribes did not succeed with that label. The people remained it with Jesus. You know, it isn't easy to call someone by a name. It sticks with them. Then it's hard for us to hear their message. You know, name calling defeats us. We can't hear what they're saying, their message. Aren't we all made in the image of God? Every one of us, believe it. We have some good in us. What did we hear in the first reading? Bunch of blaming, wasn't it? There's Adam and Eve running around naked. How did they know they was naked? Weren't they naked before? What happened? You turn the switch and your lights go off, don't they? The light is gone out from the bulb. Adam and Eve turned the switch of disobedience on, and the light went out. The light of glory, shining like maybe on like Transfiguration Day, left them. There they were, naked. And who does Eve blame? Why, the serpent. And who does Adam blame? It is you, that woman you put here with me. He blames God. We don't want to take the blame for what we do. Isn't that strong in all of us? Don't we all have that tendency? We have a desire to do good, and then we end up messing up. We've done wrong, and we try to escape. Blame someone else. You small children, they do it all the time. Blaming somebody else. But what happens? You can see that guilty look on their face. They know they've done something wrong. But they start screaming, somebody else is to blame. And don't we do the same thing? But we do it more sneaky. We hide it more complex way. You know, this same thing is here today with us. It's nothing new. The readings show us about human nature, how disobedient to God, mankind brought about the state of evil in the world. And it continues today. You know, and we have inherited this urge towards evil, towards disobedience. When we was baptized, the original sin was taken away, but not the urge. But faith, hope, and charity was planted in us. And it's up to us to make this grow, to make this faith, hope, and charity grow like an abundance of wheat. So at harvest time, all the weeds of evil is choked down, and we're carried into the barn of heaven. Today's reading helps us understand the first break between God and man. God did not reject us. What does he show us? How he would restore us to his love. How this would be fulfilled with Christ. Isn't it wonderful that the Son of God came down to earth to save us, to give us forgiveness. Our former president, a lot of you probably never heard of him, Truman, he had a sign on his desk, "The buck stops here." Same with all of us. The buck stops with us. We will answer for what we do, good or evil. If we deny the evil, aren't we also denying the good? You know, we can't have it both ways. You know, commit a sin, not to be caught. Isn't that as old as Adam and Eve? Old as sin itself. From the first act of disobedience. The good news is what we heard. God has promised us redemption. And our lives, they don't have to end in shame. They don't have to end in sin. They can end in forgiveness. The call of God is here today. He is with us today. Where are you? What are you? God knows. But He's calling us. He's not accusing us. He's calling us to have faith in His Son. Because like in all things, He was like us, except sin. And haven't we heard with His own words, the one who does the will of God, you will be my brother. You will be my sister. You will